What's up everybody, and welcome to the channel. In today's video we're going to take a look at the all-new Toyota Crown Limited. This one is finished in Supersonic Red. MSRP is around $47,000. So let's get right into Toyota's new hybrid sedan with that little bit of luxury taste. Powering the all-new Toyota Crown Limited, you're going to find the 2.5 liter naturally aspirated inline 4-cylinder. Engine alone, this makes 184 horsepower with 163 pound-feet of torque. However, when you add in the hybrid system, which features a nickel metal hydride battery system, the net horsepower goes up to 236 horsepower. This is an all-wheel drive vehicle with an electronically controlled CVT transmission, curb weight's around 3,900 pounds, and it runs on a 14.5 gallon fuel tank, and you can expect about 42 miles per gallon. Overall length is 196.1 inches with wheelbase at 112.2. Width is 72.4 and height is 60.6 inches. Ground clearance is also 5.8 inches. Moving on to the styling with this all-new Toyota Crown, this has a pretty cool design and it's a pretty large sedan. We have a very nice set of quad beam LED headlights. You can see the LED daytime running light in them, and I like how the blacked out housing really flows well into this grille. You can see another LED portion in the center. We have a safety sensor, a nice grille design for this trim piece up front. It's not an actual grille. All of your parking sensors all finished off in gloss black with a brushed aluminum trim piece, and there is a small opening down below to allow some cooling to that engine. That's a pretty neat design with that two-tone red and black, and it does come together very well. Pretty aggressive as well. And then you can see how the sharp lines fade towards the front bumper with your Toyota badge right in the center, and then the really sharp lines going right towards that windshield. You have a very smooth design for the top of the hood, and overall it's a pretty unique sedan, but it comes together very cool. You can see a little bit of that plastic trim material going into these front fenders, and we get a really nice set of 21-inch wheels. They have a nice gunmetal gray color, and they fill out the fenders very nicely. Also get a sharp body line surrounding that fender, more of the plastic trim on the lower portion of these doors, and then gloss black trim right in the bottom. We get a set of body colored door handles and mirror caps, LED turn signal along with a side view camera, and then more silver trim surrounding all the windows with black trim for the B pillars, and I love how it all blends together towards the back. You can see somewhat of a floating roof design finished off in the red color, and then a massive panoramic roof with just a little bit of body color up there. The overall side profile, this is a pretty large looking sedan like I mentioned, however it has pretty neat looking proportions, and I like how all the glass blends together with the black trim cutting into this back section. You can see how the rear window slopes downward into the trunk, and then we have a really nice set of LED taillights with a massive LED bar connecting. You can see the Toyota badge in the center with the rear view backup camera, Crown logo, limited and all-wheel drive, and some nice clean lines all throughout the rear. Got some reflectors, parking sensors, and then some black plastic trim in the bottom with more silver trim. It really does come together. Again, this is a pretty unique looking sedan, but it's pretty futuristic and pretty cool. And then moving on to the interior, you got Toyota Crown on the back side of the key, lock and unlock, and the trunk release. Keeping the car locked, of course this has a smart key. Keeping it in my pocket, I can just grab the door handle, everything unlocks, and we can move on to the interior. This one gets a black and dark chestnut leather interior, so a nice two-tone, and you're gonna see a little bit of bronze accents. You can see we have this chestnut color on the door insert, black leather material for the padded armrest and grab handle, all the window controls, lock and unlock, then we have memory seat with your release handle. Got a little bit of storage down below, Toyota and Crown on the door sill, Crown on the carpets as well, and then you're going to see all the power controls on the driver's seat. You're also going to see the smooth leather, perforated leather throughout the center, and then more of that fading towards the backrest with a nice stitching design. You also have a bronze color for the piping, and it makes its way to these cool looking headrests. Nice design for that panoramic roof, and then a 3-spoke steering wheel, black leather, and bronze trim. And then now inside the Crown, keep my foot on the brake, we can go ahead and fire it up. Not really going to hear any engine noises at the current moment. And then taking a look at the steering wheel, we have your Toyota badge, controls on the left side. You can also see the volume control and Bluetooth. We have some cruise control settings on the right and mode, and the engine did just fire on. So if we take a look at the gauge cluster, we can see the speedometer and gear right in the center, MPG over on the left side, your power over on the right side as well, And then if I go ahead and play with this toggle right here, if I just scroll to the left or to the right, you can see it change up just a little bit for the gauge cluster itself. If I hold down the OK icon, you can now configure what you see in the center screen. You can have a blank screen, cruise control settings, settings itself, messages, and then scrolling over to the left, you're able to toggle what you're gonna see on this screen. So I like how configurable the screen really is. Pretty neat design. And then going over to this side, you can see just a few more items on this right side. And as of now, we're back into EV mode, which is pretty neat to see. Now there are drive modes as well. You can actually go into the EV mode, so you can see how that turns on. You can drive about 20 miles an hour or so in pure electric if you have enough battery charge. We also have our drive mode select. You're gonna see the eco mode, normal as well as sport. And then on the right side of the steering wheel, you're gonna see all the windshield wiper controls, and then turn signal, stock, and headlights on the left. Down below, we have our gas cap and trunk. You have the odometer buttons, and then you're also gonna see automatic high beams. Get more of that bronze colored accent. Tweeters are in the A-pillars. And then pretty smooth materials running across this dashboard. Nice contours too with that chestnut color, and this is all that bronze color. Now for the center infotainment screen, this is basically what you're gonna see on Toyotas. Full screen nav, we have all of your audio controls, phone integration. Going into car, we have climates that'll pop up. If you go into front, you can see a few things popping up. We also have options as well. Going back into vehicle, we can see comfort settings, heated and ventilated seats along with your steering wheel. You're able to adjust trip information, energy flow. So you can see how the battery and engine are basically going to work this all-wheel drive system. And then going down into settings, there's quite a few things you can pop up. Now taking a look at the shifter, has a unique shift pattern. So reverse is like that. You have a rear view backup camera, all of your guidelines and top-down view. You can also configure that one just a little bit. And then we can just press the P button and put the car back into park. All of your climate controls are going to be down here. We have heated and ventilated seats, and even with this, it'll have an auto selection. So it's pretty cool to see how you can have it automatically set up depending on the exterior climate. We have different controls right here. You can toggle for auto. You can see the high temperatures, everything like that. A little bit of storage down below and a wireless phone charging pad in a vertical design, which is really cool to see. We also have the view icon for a shortcut into the camera system. So you can see that view. You can also toggle this for a different type of 360 camera view. Then there's two USB ports down below, two cup holders. You can also remove this divider to get a little bit extra space. And then you can see for the drive select, we also have the B right here, which is basically for better regeneration, auto hold feature, traction control, as well as the park and brake. More of the chestnut color, and the center console is cool. There's a button on each side, so you can actually open this up left or right. And then in here you can remove this, and there's a little bit extra storage space. And if we go ahead and take a look at the glove box now, pretty basic as you would expect in a nice size bucket. One last look at the interior. It's a pretty cool place to be. You can definitely tell there's a little bit of that luxury taste for this Toyota Crown. Nice use of materials. Another look at the panoramic roof. Up above, you're gonna see all of your LED dome lights, the controls for that sunshade. Then we have garage door openers below the mirror. Moving on to the rear seat space, grabbing the door, opening it up. You're gonna see the same door panel back here with the two-tone color, and I like how you're gonna have a heated seat button. We have all the same materials back here with the perforated leather in the centers. You're even gonna have piping up to the headrest. This can seat 3 people, and the center seat cushion, you can pull this down. We have a nice size armrest, and you can flip that open for some cup holders. You're also gonna have climate vents, USB plugs, then a little bit of storage behind these front seats. And then hopping into the back now of this Crown, like I said, this is a bigger sedan. It's a little bit bigger than you may expect. This is pretty roomy back here. I'm 5'11", plenty of headroom. Driver's seat at my height, plenty of knee room and foot room as well. Armrests are all in a great place. And this extra window back here, along with that sloping rear glass and that panoramic roof, there is a lot of open air in here, and it's really comfortable. Seats don't recline, however, they're in a good recline the way they sit. So honestly, I don't see this being a problem for a family sedan. You can definitely fit full-grown adults back here and go on a pretty long trip in comfort. And then moving on to the trunk space, there's actually a button hidden right under here. If I go ahead and press that, it'll unlock and we can manually open up the trunk lid, and you have a lot of space back here. Super squared off, as you can tell. You can even grab the base and lift it up just a little bit. You're gonna have a spare tire back in here, and then there's little pull tabs that we can pull to lower down the second seats. With them down, you can see a little bit more cargo area in the back of this Toyota Crown. They're gonna fold down nice and flat. Opening into the trunk is pretty large. So it does make this a pretty practical sedan. All right, setting off now in the Crown. I'm in EV mode right now. So right now we're in just pure electric, which is great for parking lots, things like that. As I get a little bit faster though, it will end up deactivating. So right there, about 25 miles an hour, it is deactivated, and we are now having a combination of the hybrid system. So it's not the fastest car in the world, however, you can get the Platinum, which will have the turbo engine with the hybrid system, and that one's probably pretty peppy with over like 400 horsepower of torque. Now this one's still pretty good. You can get up to about 50, 60 without really stressing. It's a comfortable car to be in, and I think Toyota did nail it pretty well. Of course, the Prius is kind of the basic hybrid you're gonna get from Toyota. Very good car over the last 2 decades nearly. The Crown is kind of the next step up. It gives you that luxury touch, and it really rides like that. This rides so smooth, the suspension is comfortable, the seats are comfortable, steering is effortless, and given you have, you know, a little bit more of that weight in the lower portion of the car, it's pretty planted when you take it around some turns. You can feel the luxury in it. It is a smooth, nice car to be in. You don't really hear much road noise or wind noise or anything like that. It is pretty insulated. The only thing you hear is with the CVT transmission, it's a little noisy if I floor it. I mean, you can hear it, you know, it doesn't sound the greatest. That's the one thing you're gonna notice if you really are stepping on it. However, most people are probably not gonna be driving this car the way I've been driving it the last couple days. But you can feel that instant battery power electric motor. You have motors on the front and the rear with this all-wheel drive system. You can feel that little bit extra torque when you do accelerate quickly. So it's nice, it gives it that little extra pep in its step. But I can tell the Crown is a pretty nice car to drive, and it doesn't really break the bank given it's a hybrid, and I've even getting well over 40 miles per gallon cruising it around. So it seems like a pretty cool place. Visibility is really good as well. You can see all this glass up in front, and when I look over my right and left shoulder, I mean, there is just endless glass around this car. It is a really cool touch. And with the hybrid system, I love how you can watch, you know, the battery get charged up, the electronics working. This diagram, right now we're on battery power, so the engine isn't even running right now. Hitting these, this thing drives really smooth. You can tell the build quality is up there. It's a solid car. It's almost bordering on a Lexus. Like, it kind of has that vibe to it, to where they could totally make this into a Lexus and have an even next step up in luxury. But I like also how integrated the hybrid system works. If you're just driving normal, you don't really feel or hear the engines and electronics take over. It's just super seamless and it works really well. So I think they've done a good job. Toyota's kind of pioneered the hybrid system, probably does it better than anybody, I would say. And the Crown seems like a pretty cool option. A few other things, you know, the ergonomics and everything, it's super easy to use. I like the 2 screens, they fit the interior nice. While this is semi that tablet design that not everyone's the biggest fan of, it's lower than the dash, so I can see all of this while driving, to where this doesn't obstruct my view. It doesn't feel like it's just stuck on there or anything. I can see out very well, and the screen basically gives me everything that I want. So nothing confusing about it. Toyotas, they work really simple. Alright, so my honest thoughts with the Crown back in EV mode, just slow speed driving. I really like how hybrids, especially this one, can give you that EV mode, to where if you're just moving your car, you know, in and out of the garage, around like a parking lot, you don't even have to turn the engine on. That's a really cool touch, and then when you need the power, of course, it'll kick on and do its thing, be a hybrid, use a blend of the gas as well as the electronics. I am surprised with how nice this car is. I didn't check out the specs for the last couple days when I drove this. I was expecting this to be like $60,000. I don't know why that's kind of where I was putting it. However, at 47, this seems like a pretty good deal. You know, hybrids are generally kind of expensive, I guess, when you compare it to the normal cars, but this one doesn't feel more expensive than, you know, the Avalon that it kind of replaced, I guess, if you look at it. So this seems like a pretty well-priced, well-balanced hybrid, and the fact that it does drive as well as it does, I think says a lot. So if we go back, sport mode and stuff, doesn't really do too much. I'd say throttle response is a little bit more touchy. Maybe it puts you a little bit more battery power to it. So I guess sport mode, you can definitely feel it just a little bit. Normal driving in eco mode though, it's definitely super normal, super comfortable, and it just feels like a good daily. I mean, getting over 40 miles per gallon, the fact that it's so comfortable, I can move the seats high and low, so I think, you know, different size people and everything, I think you're really gonna be able to fit pretty nicely. If I move the seat all the way back, wow, at 5'11", I am barely touching the gas pedal. So I think really tall people and really short people could honestly drive this. it seems like they've given you a lot of interior space in this car to where it's gonna fit pretty much anybody, and it really does just feel like a comfortable daily. I would not mind at all using this for the long haul. I've been driving a couple days and I still have 407 miles left on the gas tank. I've only used 1/8 of a tank in like 3 days. So the fact that you're gonna get about 500 miles on the range is pretty nice, and it's not that big of a gas tank, so it's not gonna cost that much to fill up. Price point, it's about average with today's market, and yet you get all the standard safety features, all of the bells and whistles, the technology. And I would really like to drive, of course, the Platinum, which is going to give you a turbo engine in conjunction with a hybrid, and that thing's probably going to be pretty peppy and have a little bit more of that fun factor to it. This one, just a nice, good all-around trim level, I think, and you can still tone it down to the step below this if you want to, sacrifice a few of the creature comforts. But Toyota Crown, pretty good hybrid, I think, if you're looking for just like a nice car overall. Not really any major complaints with it. It's really just going to be personal preference, obviously. If you're looking for a nicer, larger style sedan that has the hybrid technology in it, this is something to put on the list. So that is then it for the new Toyota Crown Limited. Pretty cool car for sure. It's been nice and comfortable just cruising it around town, highway driving and everything like that. Really can't complain. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, stay tuned for plenty more content to come, and I'll see you all in the next video.